Welcome back, Rising World fans. I thought you'd like a little peek at the hammer beam ceiling. I have it almost finished. I brought you back in here to witness my attempt at making a sculptural piece that goes beneath the side of the hammer beam ceiling. I do have all of my columns in and what I was calling the banjo shaped thingy that goes on the wall. Those are all in now. I'm going to call this almost finished. So right now I'm going to try and attempt to make a little sculptural piece that goes on the bottom of these beams. And then I believe we're going to call it done. I will go ahead and blueprint that and stick it on all the columns. I won't record that, but that will be what will happen. I'm going to show you a picture real quick of the type of sculptural piece that is on the actual building. Now, I can't make the face and the little flowery things that are on the molding and such. Theoretically, because we have a triangle in this game, theoretically we could make any shape under the sun if we wanted to manipulate triangles, tiny little triangles, into a sculpture. I'm not willing to do that, and or even attempt it. But I am going to do something that approximates the shape of this little head. It looks like a jester to me. It's a white, marbly shaped thing. I believe all of this is plasterwork, actually, and painted. But I've got the beginnings of it done, or the beginnings of the mount, where the little sculpture goes. And it's right up here. Just decided to pick one of these to start with. I do have the base of it where I believe it is pretty close to the right shape that I need. In fact, let me get over on this side and give you this perspective so that you can see the shape that I'm going for compared to the photo. There's the base of it, almost ready to experiment with putting the sculpture on there. I might need one more piece of this on here to make it a little thicker. Yeah, I think so. Press enter, yeah, that aligns it. So one more piece of that to make it thicker. And then there is, now when you work with beams, the difference between the beam and the plank is that beams want to be square. So if I make it, I'm not sure whether to use a beam or a plank here. I'm going to make this a little thicker on the bottom to accept the shoulder piece that I'm going to put in. I'm trying to determine whether I want to do that with a beam or, well, that might work. That's about right. Let's see. Come over here. And this is this the same width? It is not. That is the same width. So if I place that right about there, And I'm just completely eyeballing this because I just don't know what I'm doing at all. And then push it in. Yes, and I'm going to have to make this blueprint a couple of times to eliminate the blocks behind it, because there was just no other way for me to eyeball this. Okay, so this part got really boring and long, so I've sped it up to spare you the agony of watching it. What I'm doing here is just throwing in the pieces, parts that the sculpture thing needs to sit on. And then I am putting in a shoulder piece, or thinking about how I'm going to put in a shoulder piece. I've changed my mind. I'm going to put a square in there first. And then the log, I think. It's going to be a little bit shorter or narrower than the green. Another one goes in, and will there be a log? Will there? Yes, there is going to be a log. Okay, so then below that is another roundish piece that sits beneath. It's part of the assembly of the bracket with some molding. And oops, made it too short. Gotta fix that. Okay, fixed. So I've done a little bit more. This does take a little while to figure out. That seems to be the most time-consuming thing, is figuring out exactly how you're going to do something. So what I've done is I built the bottom support and some of the details of the thing that supports the sculpture. I've put in the shoulders and what I have representing the arms of the sculpture. And now we need to figure out the head. There are some side pieces that go in here next to the arms that are green, and that's good. Okay, then it's got some very narrow kind of stripes on top and bottom of the gray color of what this thing is, obviously. Okay, now the head and neck. How to do. Well, the head is going to go up here and be bigger. So how does this work? Mine may stick out. The head is almost perpendicular or straight up and down with a nose. And the neck is kind of angled, but I think it's going to work what I'm trying to do, maybe. I mean, it's crazy, right? I'm making a sculpture out of cylinders. Okay, so we've got a head of sorts. Now, we're going to do okay, he's got ears, and yes, he is going to have a nose. All right, so I sped it up again in this area because this took a little while. I am struggling with putting in some features on my cylinder head. This little triangle here is as small as you can make it. So this is the limit to how narrow and how short this triangle will go. So you can do details, but you cannot do them very small. So any kind of item that you might want to build out of triangles, because triangles are used to make any kind of shape if you use enough of them, would have to be pretty big, because the triangle does not go smaller than that. And I am struggling to get this nose in the right position. It's funny, this is sped up 8 times, and yet it still seems pretty darn slow. At least I think it's 8 times. So yeah, still working on positioning that nose, getting it in there. Next will come eyebrows. Oh, no, that's too long. That's just about right. Come on, click it in there. Come on, that's fine. All right, and now I don't know what. Oh, we're gonna look at doing eyeballs, but no, I think that's too big, and that is as small as it will go. So the eyeballs would be the same size as the ears, which would be pretty darn big. So any minute now I'm going to give up on that idea. Here we go. Here we go. Eyebrows. Looks reasonably shaped over there, right? Small enough, but wait. Oh my lord, they are big. It's pretty funny. Now I'm going to flip it around. Yes, no, no. Get it in there. Come on, come on. Click. Oh my God, I cracked myself up. Let's have a look at that thing. Does it look like a sculpture? Not exactly. Okay, well, there it is. I think that's it. Now, unfortunately, there is no way to, like, if you could make a sphere and then adhere a poster to it, then we could have like a picture of a sculpture wrapped around it. I don't know. I don't know of any way to do that. Okay, it doesn't look much like a head. I will say that. It doesn't look much like a head. But it is what it is. The rest of it is pretty much done. I'm happy enough. It doesn't look like the finished ceiling in the real building, really. I mean, it's kind of similar, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, it took a long time to do. I would say I've been on this about 4 hours today, which is long enough. Did all of the columns, I made this assembly here and put that in, one on 2 different kinds, and you'll see they're not the same length, but that's okay because it gets covered up. So I need to make the blueprint of this dude and stick him in there. I might play around with it a little bit more. And so I will stick those in, and I will bring you back at the very last and show you the finished product. And then we are moving on from this ceiling. I think it's probably about as detailed as we need it to be. And we're moving on. We're gonna decorate this room. Finally, might even move our junk out of it, and go ahead and put some kind of furnishings in here. I'm not sure what, because it wouldn't have been really furnished very much. Maybe a few chairs. There is a fireplace in here, which I need to build. And then we're going to call this room done. Yay. I put the piano here. There's an organ, a pipe organ that goes here. And I think I'm going to build onto this piano and put the pipes up above. It's got some wings that have pictures of angels on them. They're like doors that cover the pipes, but the pipes are exposed because the doors are open in the museum. So we're going to do that. We'll finish this up. We'll get some art on the walls. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I have to figure out how to light it because there are no chandeliers in here. I think there were candelabra that stood around and lit the room. But I would imagine that in the evenings it was a pretty cavernous, dark space. There's some light that comes in from the windows during the day, but not a whole lot. So that is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this blueprinted. I'll bring you back at the very end and let you see the finished product. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think the hammer beam ceiling is done. I think we've got enough decoration on it to call it finished. As you can see, I do have my sculptural pieces up on the sides. I did wind up redoing the head of the creature. It looks a little more like a human being. I'll give you a quick look. There he is. I wound up using some spheres and some tubes, cylinders. Gave him some eyebrows, a chin, some ears. He's rough, but he's done. And I'm pretty pleased with that. I think it is maybe silly looking. That's okay, because that's the best I could do. But yeah, I think it's pretty much done. This is how it turned out. So I didn't think I could really do it, but it's not too bad, not too shabby. Yeah, I'm pleased. So there you go. Hammer beam ceiling, done. And now we can move on to finishing this room, decorating it, getting some decor done. We're going to work on the fireplace. I'm going to finish up the paneling. I think I have a pretty good idea how to finish that up. There are, in the Victorian version anyway, there are quite a few antlers spread along the top here. I may put some of those up. I believe I will put probably like a table in here and some chairs, and that'll be about it. Maybe a rug or two. I've been playing around with some lighting ideas, trying to figure out how to light this room. There are these lamps that are the singular, looks almost like a candle, but it's an electric type light. I think that's too much light for one candelabra. I'm trying to figure out a candelabra. This one's obviously too tall. And too many lights. So I'm going to be working on figuring out some lighting for this this room. But I'm pretty pleased that this room is coming together. We're almost finished. We still need to work on the organ. And then we can move on to some other rooms. And then I'm anxious to get out of this house a little bit and maybe work on our fishing village that is going to be down by the lake. Still lots to do, but I'm pretty pleased. I think that the heads are weird. There's no doubt about it. The heads are weird. But at least from here, they look like heads. Enough to satisfy me. They do look like heads. So, yeah. There you go. Hammer beam ceiling. Yay! We're done. Okay, I'm going to keep going on this. I'm going to get this building done if it kills me. I seriously doubt it's going to kill me. But if you want to see the building get done, please subscribe, come back, follow me on Twitter, because that's when you know that I've just put up a new episode. And if you liked it, give me a like. See ya. Bye-bye.